Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. The man gracing today's video is none other than Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos. Having a net worth of $156 billion and being the first person to accumulate a fortune of more than $100 billion, Bezos is the richest person in the world at this moment. Out of all the curiosities you have, we're pretty sure that at times you wonder, what do billionaires spend their money on? Well, what better way to get some answers than to get a glimpse of how the richest man in the world spends his money? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So let's jump straight into it. When Jeff Bezos decided to quit his job on Wall Street and sell books online, his parents were taken aback. Nevertheless, Bezos was lucky to have very supportive parents who shelled out $250,000 to help their son get started. Their son went on to make history, and presently, the e-commerce website is worth $30 billion. Surprisingly, Jeff Bezos only makes $81,840 as his salary from the company. So how is he worth billions, and where does his money come from? Well, the answer is really simple. One of the best ways to do so on any businessman's holy path. He spends his money on successful investments. It's estimated that Bezos makes $2,489 per second, which is more than twice the average American workers make in 1 week. In fact, most of us can't spend that money in a second, but Bezos surely knows how to spend it well. Call it a weird combination of misfortune and tragic comedy. One of the things that Bezos has spent a lot of his money on isn't really fun. In 2019, his divorce with Mackenzie Bezos led him to give 25% of the Amazon stock owned by the couple to his now ex-wife. However, even this hasn't stripped him of his title as the richest man in the world, thanks to his formidable shares in other companies. His list of companies includes Zappos, the major shoe brand that he bought for $1.2 billion, a pretty mere sum of money for him. He extended his hand to the popular grocery line, Whole Foods, which he bought in 2017 at an insane amount of $13.7 billion. Not to be settled with these, Bezos also made his way to the Washington Post with $230 million, making sure the fine print reaches your coffee table in the morning. That's not even half the companies Bezos has invested in. Other big names in the list are Google, Alexa, Twitch, Audible, and IMDb. His own capital firm venture, Bezos Expeditions, expands his investments further for supporting small companies and startups. One of his most interesting creations is the Blue Origin Space Company, which he hopes will make affordable space travel a dream come true, though probably only for the richest people in the world. But enough talk about the companies that Bezos has bought and invested in. Even though that is a big part of the things he spends billions on, it's just one of the long list of several other expenditure. Thanks to a roundup in the Wall Street Journal, we know that Bezos is one of the biggest landowners in the United States. Considering the fact that real estate is not even his specialty, the billionaire still owns some really luxurious structures across the country. In June of 2019, Bezos dropped about $80 million on 3 New York City apartments in the priciest real estate area of upscale Central Park West, spanning across 10,000 square feet. It has a personal Bezos suite with 5 bedrooms and a beautiful view of the Empire State Building from the bathtub. If that's not enough, the top floor has a glass observatory with amazing views of the New York skyline. He also owns a luxurious estate at Medina on more than 5 acres of land reportedly cost him $53 million. The house sits right on the edge of Lake Washington and has 310 feet of private shoreline and a boathouse. And guess who he has as his close neighbor? The man who owned the title of the richest man before Bezos swooped in, Bill Gates. Bezos loves Washington, probably because it's closer to his brain baby, Amazon's headquarters at Seattle, which is again a spectacular piece of huge property worth $4 billion. It's of little surprise that he owns some fancy buildings in Washington, which includes a former textile museum for which he shelled out $23 million. Bezos also holds the record for the most expensive property ever bought in Los Angeles, a $165 million mansion in Beverly Hills. And a $12.9 million 4-bedroom property next door, just because he wanted to have a compound feel going on. Another one of his landmark estates that he owns, but isn't for living purposes, is a 300,000-acre ranch in Texas, which is presently being used for space exploration projects carried out by Blue Origin Space Company. The millions that Bezos has spent in real estate is just another way a lot of billionaires love to dust their pockets. If you've looked through how many millionaires, celebrities, and any other rich person spend their money, One common finding is that they love luxury cars. But Jeff Bezos is an exception, and how do we say this? He's just not a car guy. The two known cars that he owns are extremely modest: a Honda Accord and an old Chevrolet Blazer. But what he lacks in ground travels, he puts towards his luxurious travel across the sky. Bezos owns a Gulfstream G650, which costs $65 million, which is one of the fastest private jets in the world and enough to make anyone jealous. Bezos also owns his own robot dog, which he apparently calls Spot Mini. This piece of technology was created by Boston Dynamics, and Bezos is probably one of the very few people who can proudly say that they are the owner of a high-tech pet. He also invested a massive $42 million in the construction of a unique clock that is promised to run accurately for 10,000 years. Why would anybody want a clock that outruns an entire generation beyond us? But this is a pretty evident Bezos flex, if we could call it that. In spite of the billions he spends on his business, opulence, and in his professional sphere, Bezos does occasionally spend a little on himself, like any of us. The only difference is obviously the sum of the money that is spent. He has an exotic palate, and is known even to have sampled octopus as a side dish in his breakfast, just because he can. He recently threw his girlfriend Lauren Sanchez a star-studded birthday bash and later whisked her off on a romantic getaway to St. Bart's. Bezos has organized quite a number of exclusive parties under his belt, and when he's not partying, the billionaire does love to travel with his friends and family. Family vacations include watching aquatic life from a private submarine, or lavish trips across Rome. You know, just a normal billionaire family vacation. As they say, when you get some, you should give some away. Bezos is well known for his charity programs, having donated more in 2018 than any person in the world. Charity programs spearheaded by Bezos include Mary's Place, which supports homeless people at Seattle. Bezos Day One Fund boosts nonprofits to reduce and support homeless people and several others. When it comes to spending unnecessarily, or just for the sake of it, Bezos is definitely not the man on with that plan. So, which of these things would you do if you get your hands on $1 billion? Do let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you love the video, don't forget to click on the like button and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back soon.